and welcome to January bullet journal setup. This time we're starting with some floral setups, and here I'm doing some brush lettering to write the January title in my cover page as some nice looking script lettering. I had no plan, I just tried to do some smaller letters because I'm pretty rusty, so if you're to try this style, it should be fairly simple to make. Next, I'm making poinsettia drawings that are pretty minimal because you guys voted in my story a couple of weeks ago for this one mostly, so I wanted to incorporate it into my bullet journal first. And I sketched out some things based on some photos from Unsplash or Pixabay or both, and I wanted to incorporate some minimal drawings in my bullet journal because the pages are kind of ghosting and a bit transparent, so I can't do my usual detailed drawings in my bullet journal. So here I'm just doing a couple of circles for the center part and a lot of basic leaf-like shapes for the plant shape to make it a bit more realistic in this case. And I don't really focus on the photo reference in this case. I just went in and tried to replicate the look of this plant, and I wanted to incorporate 3 plants on the bottom of this cover page. As you can see, it's fairly minimal. You don't have to worry about making every single leaf-like shape the same or symmetrical or anything like that. You can make them a bit wavy or even make them bend in different ways, in different placements to make it a bit more realistic. Next, I'm starting to make a monthly log, and again, I'm using my brush pen to write the title in that same style, if that's possible. And when I'm done with that part, I will do my usual open grid calendar layout. Here I'm writing days of the week at the very top with that same brush pen. They're a bit messy, and that's okay. I'm only doing the first letter, and then I'm underlining this one, the top part, with a brown brush marker. You can use any marker that's brown. In this case, I have this one. I love the color, so I'm using it. And then I'm dividing this into 5 sections for the weeks. And when I'm done with that part, I will start writing out the numbers for every single day of the week here, or of the month. I wanted to do a complete calendar setup over here, including a couple of months that are in December, because I had a space and it would be good for me to plan out this week because I'm moving into this bullet journal starting on Monday. So even that started already, so this is just a heads up. And yeah, when I'm done with writing every single day of the week, I'm looking to see how much space do I need here in this layout. Because I'm using a ruled notebook, I decided to use 3 lines, 3 spaces for 1 week, and that was always enough for me. So if you have something like this and you use notebook like this, you can try that and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, you can add 1 more line to have a bit more space. But that's it. At the bottom, I'm again doing more poinsettia drawings, and I focused on making some overlaps to make this bottom part filled out. This time I really wanted to draw something for January. In my previous bullet journal setup, I did a completely minimal setup, and if you want to see something like that, I will link it down below for you to check it out. Here I wanted to do it a little bit. I had some time and I wanted to practice this drawing of this plant before I do anything that's detailed. I'm planning to do a detailed tutorial in a couple of next weeks if I get some free time to do that. So if you want, you can subscribe and wait for it. I will definitely put it out live in a couple of weeks probably, so stay tuned for that. This plant is perfect for drawing if you want to start doing some botanical illustration. And here you can see some minimal designs, but keep in mind that I will do a detailed one very soon. On the right side of the calendar, I had some space left, and this is a bit of a vanity metric, but I wanted to do a couple of trackers for social media for different stuff that I'm putting out. Some of them are my personal stuff, some of them are social media profiles for my mom's store. So here I will just track that when the time comes. Next 2 pages are my go-tos, and I honestly cannot live without them in my bullet journals. They are habit check and a brain dump page. Basically, brain dump is a place where I just drop all of my ideas that are not fitting anywhere else that I want to explore a bit more. And my habit check is something that I do because I cannot do regular trackers. I'm so bad at them. If I don't see them right in front of me, I will not complete them. So I'm doing this mid-month and at the end of the month as some sort of journaling to see how good I was or how bad I was at some things. And the next 2 pages are some sort of plans for my personal brand and my mom's store. Here I'm just doing a couple of things, some do's, don'ts, goals, number 1 thing that I need to do, and some smaller plans for different parts of these 2 brands. Mostly focus on social media, but honestly, if you have any other type of plan for the next year, it doesn't have to be social media stuff. It can be anything else. You can do some do and don't columns, number 1 thing that you want to do, and a goal, and some smaller sections that you want to focus on. So this is also good for every other thing. And the next page is my top 5 goals for this month that I want to focus on. And I want to keep it personal, so I will complete the list a bit later. And the next page is my gift ideas for Christmas that will come in a couple of days. And this is it for my top 5 goals. I will do a review at the end of the month to see what happened, as some sort of journaling, just to see what happened, what I could focus on, what didn't work out, and similar stuff. Next to the gift idea spread, underneath, I wanted to do 1 more poinsettia drawing, this time a bit larger to fill in that bottom space, because I know I won't need it because I have pretty small handwriting, so I wanted to doodle a bit and practice a bit more. And lastly, I'm doing my first weekly of the beginning of this month. I'm doing my personal favorite, the layout that's separated into 6 columns for every day, and I'm doing some brush lettered numbers that are quite large to visually divide the days. But honestly, I will tell you, if you want to do something like this, to do these bolder numbers, use a fine liner. I really struggled with this one. I thought it would be good and maybe even easier to do them like this, but you have more control with your fine liner. So if you want to do them in this style, I would suggest for you to use a fine liner. As you can see here, I went in up later to fix them, but with a fine liner you will have more precision and more control if you want to do something like this. So here I'm just trying to save them at this point. I wanted to do them that they look a bit like serif numbers, but it didn't turn out like I wanted to. So here I'm just fixing a couple of things here and there. And when I'm done with that, I will start focusing on the rest of this weekly spread. Next to the numbers on the right side, I'm adding first 3 letters for the names of the days of the week. Just have that because sometimes I get lost and I completely forgot what date it is in a week, so I'm doing that. And on the very bottom of this spread, I'm doing 3 separate sections for things that I want to track. I want to track my mood because I need it, honestly, and 2 brands that I'm focusing on just to see how much I post, what I do, and similar stuff. And on the very top, I'm doodling some poinsettia drawings again. I wanted to do a bit of that top part illustration, and I'm doing a couple of circles for the center part and leaf-like shapes, the most basic ones for the shape of the plant, and I'm trying to overlap them when I get close to the other plant. First, I'm starting with a couple of smaller leaves, and then I'm finding the gaps that I could use to add a bit more of them. Some of them are more spaced out, some of them are less, and that's it. Have fun with it. Honestly, they are not so hard to draw, especially with this type, and it'll be fairly easy to you and fun to doodle a bit. And lastly, I'm underlining to separate these sections with that same brown marker, and that's it. This is my finished January bullet journal setup, and I hope you found this minimal setup useful. If you want to doodle these poinsettia drawings, do a couple of circles for the center part and do leaf-like shapes, a couple of them that are smaller, and then underneath do a couple of them that are bigger, and that's pretty much it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this one. Next time I will do a drawing tutorial, so stay tuned, and I'll see ya. Ciao!